Imagine waking up tomorrow as a king. You live in a massive castle. Thousands of people obey your commands. You have wealth beyond imagination. Gold, jewels, servants, armies, everything you could ever want. Sounds like the easiest life in the world, right? But here's the strange truth. Many kings lived under more pressure than almost anyone else in their kingdom. Every day they had to make decisions that could start wars, crush economies, or even get themselves killed. So what exactly did kings do all day? Let's travel back hundreds of years and follow a king through a typical day. And you might be surprised by how little free time he actually had.
The king wakes up. The day often began before sunrise. Unlike ordinary people, kings didn't wake up alone. As soon as the king opened his eyes, servants were already waiting. Some brought water for washing, others prepared clothing. A few were responsible for food, and some simply stood nearby in case the king needed anything. Even getting dressed was a complicated process. Royal clothing wasn't just about fashion. Every piece of fabric, every jewel, and every color sent a message. It showed wealth, it showed status, and most importantly, it showed power. In some royal courts, dozens of servants participated in the king's morning routine. Something as simple as putting on shoes could become a ceremonial event. Imagine needing an entire team just to get ready for the day. Breakfast with politics. Breakfast wasn't always relaxing. Many kings used meals as political meetings. Important nobles, advisors, and foreign visitors often joined them. While eating, the king listened to reports from across the kingdom. How were the harvests? Were taxes being collected? Were there any rebellions? Did neighboring kingdoms seem suspicious? Remember, there were no phones, no emails, no instant communication. News could take days or even weeks to arrive. This meant kings constantly worried about events happening far away. A problem that started in a distant town could become a major crisis.
Running an entire kingdom. After breakfast came the most important part of the day, government business. Most people imagine kings sitting on thrones giving random orders. Reality was very different. Kings spent hours reading reports, signing documents, and meeting advisors. They listened to complaints, settled disputes, approved laws, managed finances, and made decisions affecting thousands or even millions of people. Think of a king as a combination of president, prime minister, military commander, and chief judge. The workload was enormous. Every decision carried consequences. Raise taxes too much? People become angry. Lower taxes too much? The treasury runs out of money. Trust the wrong advisor? You could lose your throne. Many kings spent several hours every day simply discussing problems and making decisions. The constant threat of war. One of the king's biggest responsibilities was preparing for war. In the medieval world, conflict was everywhere. Neighboring kingdoms fought over land, powerful nobles challenged authority, invaders threatened borders. Because of this, military matters consumed much of a king's attention. Generals reported troop movements, messengers delivered intelligence, maps were studied carefully, plans were discussed for defending castles and protecting trade routes. Some kings personally trained with swords and horses. Others inspected troops to ensure soldiers remained loyal. A strong army could keep a king in power. A weak army could end a dynasty. The royal court. Throughout the day, people constantly sought access to the king. Nobles wanted rewards. Merchants wanted privileges. Religious leaders wanted support. Foreign ambassadors wanted alliances. Everyone wanted something, and everyone competed for the king's attention.
The royal court was one of the most political places on earth. Behind every smile could be a hidden agenda. Behind every compliment could be a request. Some courtiers spent years trying to gain influence. Others spread rumors about rivals. Many kings had to become experts at reading people. One wrong judgment could create dangerous enemies. What about entertainment? Of course, kings weren't working every minute. They enjoyed entertainment too. One favorite activity was hunting. But hunting wasn't just a hobby, it was also training. Kings practiced riding, tracking, and weapon skills. It demonstrated strength and leadership. Many kings also enjoyed tournaments. These events featured knights competing in combat and athletic contests. Music, dancing, storytelling, and banquets were common forms of entertainment. Yet even leisure activities had political value. A grand feast showed wealth. A successful tournament displayed military strength. Everything a king did affected how others viewed him, even having fun.
The fears no one talks about. Now, here's the part most people never consider. Being king could be terrifying. History is full of rulers who were betrayed by friends, advisors, and even family members. Some kings were poisoned. Some were imprisoned. Some were assassinated. Others lost everything during rebellions. Imagine knowing that powerful people around you might secretly want your position. Trust became difficult. Paranoia was common. Many kings slept with guards nearby. Some changed rooms frequently. Others kept food tasters to ensure meals weren't poisoned. The crown brought enormous power, but it also made you a target. Night never really ended. As evening arrived, the king's work often continued. More meetings, more reports, more decisions. Messengers sometimes arrived late at night, carrying urgent news. A rebellion, a border attack, a political crisis. The king couldn't simply ignore it until morning. The safety of the kingdom depended on constant attention. Eventually, the king retired to his chambers. Servants prepared the room. Guards took their positions. The palace grew quiet. But even then, the king's responsibilities never truly disappeared.
So what did kings do all day? They governed nations, managed armies, handled politics, settled disputes, protected their thrones, and tried to survive in a world filled with danger. The image of a king relaxing on a golden throne all day is mostly a myth. In reality, ruling a kingdom was one of the most demanding jobs in history. Because when you wear the crown, every problem in the kingdom becomes your problem. And sometimes, the most powerful person in the realm was also the person carrying the heaviest burden.
So, what do you think about becoming a king? Let me know in the comments.